Oh shit, we don't have a theme song.
Oh shit, you're right. What are we gonna do?
I don't know. Like, do we have time to buy something?
No, we just have to riff.
We're gonna just riff it.
Oh shit, it's the Nostalgic Front, a podcast from Patrick and Ream. We like movies, TV, and games, junk food, juice boxes, forgotten things.
Oh wow, that was adequate.
Yeah, that was like pretty good.
Yeah, are we just gonna use it for every episode?
I think we should. I think we have to.
Thank you for listening to the Nostalgic Front. I'm Patrick Hasty.
And I am Brandon Ream.
How is it going, Brandon?
Patrick?
Yeah?
Shut up a second.
Okay.
It's going fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
God damn. How you feeling?
Good.
Good, buddy.
Good. Feeling good. Feeling right.
You're looking good.
Really?
Now, I've noticed this. I don't want to spoil on our guest, but you're wearing a Bo Jackson shirt.
Uh-huh.
Our guest, or one of, is wearing Bo Jackson shoes. That's crazy.
Heck yeah.
They're nodding their head. How you feeling, man?
I'm great, man. I'm feeling good.
Having a good week?
Feeling all right.
All right.
It's Tuesday night. Out of sight.
Out of sight. What have you been up to? Any old shit?
Oh, boy. Dude, have you been? Have you been to Six Flags?
I haven't, but you went.
Oh, man. It fucking ruled.
I saw you saw a fucking...
Dude, for you, number one, like... A third of the park is DC.
I know. I saw as soon as I saw your photo.
They got
I was
a
like,
Joker ride.
Thank you.
They got a Superman ride.
Oh yeah.
They got a Wonder Woman ride.
Uh-oh.
They got a Hall of Justice ride where you put on 3D glasses and shoot a little blaster at all these Lex bots and stuff.
Where did you see Cyborg at?
Outside of the Hall of Justice ride.
Damn.
There's a Bizarro ride.
Bizarro.
There's a Green Lantern ride.
Yeah. What's that? Does that one suck a little more than the rest of them?
Yeah. But some nerds really say it's the best at the park.
Some people love it.
Yeah.
That's good. You had fun?
Oh yeah.
Did you
man.
ride all those rides?
A good chunk of them. I rode the Joker ride.
What do you do? Get off halfway through?
What?
You rode a good chunk of the rides?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
fall out of one.
No, it's pretty cool. You can take a bus from Port Authority.
You know, here's my question about buses. That movie Speed.
The
bad guy is the guy trying to blow up the bus?
Yeah.
Have you ever been on a bus?
Yeah.
That's the hero.
I blew up a bus on my way home from White Castle once.
Okay, so speaking of queso, did you you rode some rides?
Yeah, I went there for Fright Fest.
Fright Fest.
Where they turn, like, after 6 o'clock, it all goes dark. They turn on the fog machines, and they got people jumping out from corners with scary music going and haunted mazes and shit.
Shit.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Did you get spooked?
The first time.
The girlfriend gets spooked?
Then I was,
No, you guys are pretty tough.
Well, what got me was the person before you enter one of the haunted mazes.
Yeah.
They give you the whole spiel. Don't touch people. They won't touch you. Don't use your phone.
Yeah.
And then right when we were walking by, one of them went, boo.
Oh, sure.
And I was like, God damn it.
Not
then I was
expecting it
back
from that
home.
asshole.
Then I was back. Then nothing was getting me.
Yeah, wow, okay. I would have probably got too scared. Probably would have got a little queasy on all those rides.
Also learned that 9 teenagers died in a haunted house fire at Six Flags in New Jersey in 1983.
Is that real, or is that like part
It's
of
real.
Okay.
Pretty sad.
You
pretty
know,
tragic.
Was that what the theme?
They'll make a joke about it.
Was that the theme of it too? They're like,
no, they don't
talk about it.
Talk about it at all.
Yeah, you'd think they wouldn't.
But it's sweet, man.
Yeah,
it's yeah. I had a great time. I haven't been to an amusement park in a couple years. They got a lot of next level coasters.
Yeah,
a lot of coasters.
Love it.
Like you're just walking up, you see coasters.
You been
everywhere.
to Cedar Point?
No, but sometimes when I disagree with somebody, I can see their point.
What I was thinking is we get this podcast.
That's the one that you just stumbled on tour, right?
Yeah,
with Albert?
yeah. That's apparently like a rite of passage to everybody who lives in that part of the country. But how about this? We get our podcast to blow up through the roof. We go do shows on the road, and then we go to Cedar Point and do some shows there. Or we do some rides.
Nice.
That sounds fun. Let's do that. That's our 2020, okay?
Okay.
2020 Cedar Point. Let's make
with
it
Mike
make it
Wallace.
Goddamn, that sounds fun. Now can I tell you what I've been up to? Is that
absolutely.
Right? Is that fine?
Hope it's as cool as Six Flags.
Couple things. First off, the Arrowverse is back. All right. I watched the Batwoman show. I like it. Critics are up in the air, but honestly, I think it fucking rules.
She's a Batwoman that fucks, right?
Yeah, she's a lesbian. She loves cursing, fucking, all the cool stuff. You know, all the things we like. And then also, the Flash is back, and fucking shit's starting to ramp up to this crisis. I'm very excited for that. Another.
DC loves their crises.
Well, that's the Arrowverse.
What's the plural of crisis? Is it
Crises?
crisis?
Yeah, crises.
Crisis?
Crises? I mean, crises?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Crises sounds like a weird,
like a breakfast
religious-
cereal that sucks.
yeah.
A Christian breakfast cereal. What a life.
Uh-huh.
And to top it off, went to the doctor yesterday, found out I didn't have a heart attack last year like I thought I did.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of topping it off,
What say we take a break and bring in our fantastic guest?
let's do it.
Yeah.
This is Comedians with Ghost Stories, and I'm your host, Emily Winter. I'm recording this after recording 8 episodes of Comedians with Ghost Stories, and I am so excited about this. People's stories are incredible. You guys are going to freak out. I love it because these people are like natural performers and they've had supernatural experiences. They're not in it for getting paid for a TV show or something. This is their real stories and they're awesome. They're so friggin' good. I'm so excited for you to hear this. Have a great day. Oh my gosh. That was a dumb ending. Okay, but okay.
And we're back.
Ooh.
What a good commercial.
Sure was. It was great.
It was fantastic, buddy.
Did we get money from it?
God, I hope so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got it. Well, today, I mean, you guys know from seeing the little thing in your feed. We got a special one today. You know?
Hell yeah.
2 for the price of 1. The podcast so good, we booked 2. Ugh, fuck, I thought I could get a rhyme out of there. We're going to start again. We have a fantastic, you guys know him from their amazing television show on Fubu Sports. Also, I do think there's a podcast element involved. I might be crazy.
Fubo.
What'd I say?
Fubu.
Well, you know, I'm always thinking about Fubu, you know?
Yeah.
My jumpsuits from back in the day. Did they make jumpsuits?
No, they made football jerseys.
Thank you.
That were number 5.
Football
05.
Go. That's
LL Cool J, I'm pretty sure, was the main. He made a lot of money off of the.
Cool James? He was involved? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Fuck. Well, let's get him in here so they can start talking about their brand. Everybody, go crazy for the Cooligans, Christian Polanco, and Alexis Guerreros.
Whoa. What's up, guys?
Hey.
A lot of people. This
Yeah,
is really
right?
dope.
Yeah, right. Pretty good. That was a good one. You're really good with the audience this time. Now they get the fuck out of here and we just talk about, I don't know, fucking Rugrats for an hour. But, hey, thanks for being on the show, guys.
Thanks for having us. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is nice. Yeah, Patrick, we've known each other for a long time.
I know,
It's
right?
very nice to be in this. You know, we are always in the setting of it, like a comedy show, a comedy club.
Running in, running out.
Exactly, but now
It'll be fun. After this, we'll know so much about each other.
Get to know Hasty.
That's right.
I'm
That's
excited.
Okay, so right off the top, I want to talk about this because the Cooligans, this is like you guys fucking love soccer, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Like that's your whole. I mean,
The show is all soccer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a comedy show, but then
Yeah.
soccer comes up.
Did you ever play soccer, Ream?
I never had the cardio, man.
No, yeah. You love cardio, though, right?
That's right.
But you'll listen to Dio pretty much anywhere, but especially in the car, right?
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, right? He's a rocker through and through. Do you guys play soccer?
I didn't grow up playing, but I do play now. We have a comedian team.
Oh, sure.
Called Cooligans FC.
Whoa,
And
named after you guys?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No shit.
And it's all it's mostly stand-up comics and improvisers and writers and stuff like that. But a bunch
Nice.
of comedians make up the team, like Sarah Talamash,
Sure.
Andy Haynes.
Oh,
Great, you
they're
guys
great.
are getting club work.
Yeah, that's right. Write that down. You guys use that on the field.
Yeah, so
Fantastic.
it's awesome.
So you didn't play growing up, though?
I didn't
Did
play
you,
that.
Alexis? You play growing up?
I did. I played when I was just before high school, so
Yeah.
6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Wow.
I always loved the sport, but I'm too
Sure.
fat to play it.
Yeah,
you
I
know.
get that.
I think
Yeah.
I played 2 of the games in jean shorts. Yeah, I'm not even making that up.
That's why it's
You
never
know?
caught on in America.
Yeah.
Too many fat kids.
That's
Too
right.
many fat kids.
Yeah.
But a lot of goalies.
A lot of goalies.
A
Yeah.
lot of goalies.
That's
Put the
right.
fat kid in goal. I never went in goal, though. I refused to.
Yeah?
Actually, how I got on the team, the last team I was on, which was the best one I was on.
What were they called?
It was just the school's name.
Oh,
It
that
was not-
sucks.
yeah, they
What was
didn't
the
have,
school's
like,
name? Give me that. That's
it was
probably good.
it was St. Mary's.
St. Mary. Okay.
Yeah, it was nothing special.
No
No
nickname?
mascot?
It wasn't like the Bearcats. Right?
Damn it.
They were the Gaelic Warriors.
No,
but-
that's horrific.
Yeah.
You know?
Still pretty cool.
This week, the
Yeah.
Wolverines versus the Gaelic Warriors.
well, they
you
went
know?
with Gales.
Oh,
So
okay.
it just sounded like old ladies. Like,
ladies.
Gales here. Hello, boys.
Fantastic.
Maybe it's a strong wind.
Yeah. God damn.
Oh, every time we won, instead of orange slices, we got hard sucking candy out of a purse.
But your last game with them.
So how I made that team was they
Yeah.
asked us to run. They whittled it down to as many players as they could. Whatever it was, 23, and they had 25 of us.
Yeah.
So they said we can find a way to get 24, but we can't do 25. So everybody run laps. We're gonna do 3 laps around the field. The last one loses.
Yeah.
So I was so slow that everyone lapped me. Right.
I see where this is
So
going.
they thought the person who was
Yeah.
not as slow as me was the last one.
It
He
was-
was actually trying.
That's
So that's how I made the team.
It'd be funny if they thought you won. They're like, holy shit, we're going to win every pennant this year.
Man, that fat kid can run.
We're going to start making Gales merch, you know? Christian, so you never played when you were a kid?
I didn't. I was.
That's wild.
The way I got into the sport was through the FIFA video games.
Oh, sure, the video.
So
yeah.
I was play video games obsessively. I worked at a GameStop.
No shit.
Yeah, I was. I was for like about 5
What
years.
what was the other one? GameStop, EB. Did you
EB,
hate-
yeah, but then they GameStop bought out
Thank God.
Electronics Boutique.
A lot of wars happened over
Yeah, there was
that.
I worked at the
Gears of
GameStop I
War.
worked at. The EB was like a couple stores down, and it was
Yeah.
always like, who the fuck are those guys? It's like gang turf war in the mall.
Totally. I love it.
But that's how I used to work with a Colombian guy and a Puerto Rican guy that were obsessed with soccer.
Yeah.
and then obsessed with the game, and then I got in. And then I started learning about the players themselves.
Sure.
And that's how I got into the
God
sport.
damn. And you said you didn't play Ream? No, never? Not even like on a little kid team?
Not even a team. No.
Oh, God
Not
damn.
even like at recess.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I would do it. I was on teams when I was a little kid, but I would always get side stitch, you know? You know what I'm talking about? Where your side starts hurting,
sure.
You know? And so I'd like fall down and act like I get hit in the face or something, and they'd be like, you're not bleeding. I'm like, I bled out. I'm done. And then I go eat my, the oranges. That's a huge part of soccer.
Wait, do you mean a cramp?
Maybe. We call it side stitch in Iowa. I don't know. Our doctors were different.
I've never heard that before. Did you have a vet? I don't think you had a doctor.
I mean, I served our country.
Yeah. Side stitch sounds like the way you ride a horse.
That's a good question. Reem, you ever ride a horse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Have you really?
Yeah, it blows your mind, dude.
No shit.
First time you see him take a dump in front of
Ugh,
you.
gross. No, thank you.
Well, I'm just saying.
Are you guys horse folk?
No, I've done like at a petting zoo, sit
Yeah.
on the horse and ride around, but I've never actually ridden a moving horse.
Yeah.
No, I think I was maybe 15 when the first time I saw a horse that didn't have a cop on it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you hate horses, right?
I don't hate them. Yeah.
I
You know those real horse folk.
I will fuck a bull.
Who's the horse folk?
Oh, real horse folk. That's
Yeah.
Centurions.
Alexis calls horses pigs.
This is fun.
Well, they
Horse
are.
arrested my dad.
Oh my god, this is great. I think if we've learned anything in the first half of this podcast, it's good to have another hilarious comedian in the room talking into a mic. We all really are just feeding off each other's energy. That horse riff is better than anything we did the last 2 episodes. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so where are you guys from? Where'd you grow up?
Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah,
I grew up in Newark, New Jersey.
Newark. And I thought you guys were brothers. That's not
Go
true.
Bears.
It's a safe guess.
Yeah.
No, I grew up in Sunset Park, Brooklyn.
No shit.
Yep. To Dominican parents, Dominican immigrant parents, and that's basically where I've been my whole life. I actually just moved about 5 months ago.
Where'd you go? Guanas?
To New Jersey.
Damn.
Which is,
you got him. You won.
which is crazy.
You guys switch apartments?
Yeah, it's a long story. Had mold in my apartment.
Damn.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
And my girlfriend had like a sensitivity to it. We had to leave.
You broke up with her. You have to get out to Jersey.
It's either me or the mold.
Whenever he tells the story, it's his girl had an allergy to it. He's like, I didn't, but she did. So moved to Jersey.
I've been doing jokes about it. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I had to choose between
Sure.
my relationship and my apartment, and whatever. I kept the relationship.
There you go.
I, deeply miss the apartment.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do?
You could have stayed in the apartment. One thing I know about mold, it'll grow on you.
That's right.
Sure. Yeah.
fun,
Just right inside your lungs. It's lovely.
Are you wait? So you're not allergic?
No, well,
I
everyone.
thought everybody kind of was.
Everybody kind of is.
Yeah.
It's worse for some people.
Okay.
So for her, like every day she would deal, like the last 2 years of us living there, she was dealing with nausea and headaches and just almost every single day. And she was trying to figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
It's just too many chronic sort of symptoms.
Yeah.
And then for me, as soon as I left, I thought that it didn't affect me at all. But then Now I realize when I'm in an apartment that doesn't have mold, I'm like, oh, I can think clearly.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, I'm like I don't have constant sinus pressure, and I just thought like, oh, that's just my life. I'm supposed to get migraines every 6 weeks.
I grew up in a farm on a gravel road, and when I went to college, when I moved to college, I got all cleared up, and I was like, what the hell? And I just my whole life was just clear, like I was clogged up from dirt gravel road, you know. But I didn't know it, you know what I mean? It's like I had no idea until the first time I get away from it.
Of course.
And now when I go home, immediately I'm like your girlfriend. I'm just like dry eyes, red nose, you know. Reem, what's your chronic symptoms?
Well, I smoke it every day.
That's right. You get red eyes and all that kind of stuff too. Yeah. This has been fun. What about Newark? Okay, so what's that like? That's not too far from here.
No, not at all. It's the other city. I mean, it's whatever. It was super hardcore.
Yeah.
Very a lot of gang violence.
Were you in a gang?
I was actually for a little bit by mistake.
Shit. Sure, yeah.
I was into graffiti and I was into art. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of NJ Pack, that really large.
Oh, the
Performing Arts Center. It's huge. It's this huge building in Newark. I had a mural up there for a long time.
Oh, wow.
So
cool.
I used to do
you're like a real artist.
Yeah, for a while. I used to do art and stuff.
And then you fell back on having a television show. That's cool.
Yeah. I figured at one point I'll get to the TV. One way or another. But yeah, so my family couldn't really, my mother and family, like I had a dad. Obviously you don't have a dad. That's how you end up in Newark.
Got him.
Yeah. If anybody knows who he is, tell him I said hello. So I ended up, like, my mother's like, yeah, I can't keep affording to pay for the art stuff. So I just started doing it with my friends on walls and stuff. And a friend of mine was like, hey, you should join this crew. And I just thought it was like a bunch of kids who went out and did graffiti. And then a bunch of them one time, like, we were meeting up with some other kids to do a battle. I do a joke about it on stage where we both do one side of a wall. You both do a piece. Whichever one comes out nicer gets to keep that wall for that crew. So I just thought it was that. And then all my friends had knives. And I'm like, what the hell we all got knives for? And they're like, we're probably going to fight these kids. I'm like, why are we doing the art? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like we're kind of wasting each other's time here.
Sure.
So I had to get out of it. So I ended up getting, I mean, I didn't want to be in a gang. I'm not a gang person.
No.
But, yeah, so I grew up in Newark, and then right around the time I went to college, I moved to New York, and I've been living in New York ever since.
Okay, wow.
So I lived on the Upper West Side for 12 years, and now I've been in Brooklyn since we started the podcast.
Okay.
Well, since a year after we started the podcast, basically.
That's fantastic. God damn. So you guys, that's very interesting. Like, because we're Midwest boys. So like
You're Iowa. Where are you from?
Iowa.
Yeah, baby.
Iowa.
That's how we roll. I tricked you. You didn't know you were going to do a podcast with two Iowans today?
No, I wouldn't have come.
That's right. The doors are locked, bud. We're going to make you eat cream corn, and you're going to fucking like it.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
Y'all ever had a loose meat sandwich?
That's what we call
stuff.
it. So I have a question. This is what I always like to talk about. When we have guests that grew up around here. When 9/11 happened,
Yeah.
what the fuck was that? Unless it's like a very close story, like,
No,
like if that's why you don't know your father, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, what was that like here?
I actually do a joke about wishing my dad had died during 9/11. That's
Really?
wild that you say that. Yeah.
Well, that's great. I'm glad I brought up that fun memory.
Yeah, it's a great bit.
yeah.
I'll explain what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was in school at the time, and I had.
Oh, hold on a second.
Ooh, doggy.
Can we do a high school graduation guess? We like to guess when our guests graduate high school.
Oh, already?
I know, but he's going to
wanna
start
keep
talking
the
about it. It's
streak
going to give it
going.
away real quick.
All right.
You guessed early last time. We guess. You know what I mean?
I wasn't
2006.
2006. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say you, Alexis, graduated high school. We'll save you, Christian. I'm gonna say you graduated high school in 2004.
Okay. I'm not answering whether you're right or wrong.
What? Whoa, that burned us.
Yeah.
This story goes nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like I was in high school because I'd been teaching for 9 years.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I went to high school for 8 years.
Okay, so you're in 9/11.
So 9/11 happens. I happen
You're a
to
sophomore.
I'm not in class. Hilarious. I'm not in class, right? And I go to school near the water in Jersey City.
Yeah.
So I see the smoke coming out. Actually, I had just called a radio show called Sports Guys, and another comic heard me.
Whoa.
Another comic named Jeff Cerulli was like, wait a minute, because I posted, sometimes on 9/11 people post like where they were.
Yeah.
And I posted, I literally was on the radio talking about how Kerry Collins and the Giants had just lost to the Denver Broncos on Monday Night Football the night before. And I was flipping out because I'm a Giants fan. I was flipping out about it. I'm like, yo, Kerry Collins ain't the guy. And as I go to listen to me on the radio, I hear it preempted with, wait a minute, something happened in the towers. And I go out and I look up and I see it. I see the tower smoke. My first thought was, oh, that's a tour plane, like one of those Cessnas.
Yeah.
Because planes don't fly that close.
Pattern,
or over Manhattan. Really, you're only supposed to turn over Manhattan. You're not supposed to go over like along like the long way. So I even knew that. So I'm like, oh, clearly that's not an issue, right? So I go back to listen to the radio, and then I remember hearing they had tuned it to 1010 Winds, which is the big news radio station here, and it's in the background. It's always the sound of a typewriter, like very famous in New York. And so they switched. The radio station switched to that, and they'd said like, "Wait a minute, I think a second plane hit." That's the moment I knew. We were under attack.
Yeah.
I thought snipers were going to be on like rooftops.
Yeah.
I thought it was all. I think it was all happening.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I ran to the school and I started knocking on doors and telling people like, yo, you need to get out. We were under attack. Nobody left. Yeah. Nobody knew. There was no way of communicating. Cell phones weren't that popular yet.
Yeah.
So like nobody was talking about it. And I remember the class I was supposed to be in was theology. And I went to Catholic school. I got expelled from public school, whatever. So,
you guys are like fucking friends.
Yeah. You got expelled too?
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Mostly is the most expelled answer ever. What do you mean mostly? It either happened or didn't.
That means you didn't come in to have the conversation.
Yeah. So I remember theology, they used to make us have a journal every day. And the teacher, it was like, 2 weeks, 3 weeks before we had school again. The teacher gave me all of the torn out sheets. Saying like you should have this because everybody wrote about how they thought I was crazy.
What their day was,
because I'm the one, but it was because of me that they were able to reach out to a family member who worked at 9/11. Like because of me knocking on all those doors, they were able to sort of communicate with family and tell them that they were fine and they were safe. And then shortly after that, it came out that ground zero for if you were to take out a nuclear bomb to kill the most amount of people, it would be in the quad of that school, like in the school I was in. It was wild.
Fuck. I'm going to delete that part because we got a lot of listeners that are sketchy. I don't want them getting plans, so we got on some yellow cake uranium message board, and I'm not going to say no to a fan. Christian, now I wanted to ask you like Saved by the Bell? Is that true? That's right.
Nice smooth transition.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. Real quick, that is that whole thing. That's what because like
I mean, if you think about it, Collins did lead him to the Super Bowl.
That's
true.
Wasn't that the year before? I think that's why I was upset.
Oh, all right.
Oh,
no. It was that year, and they lost.
You fucking Giants fans. That's
he
why
lost
I was
to the
upset
Ravens.
because they lost a
Hey, everybody
Super Bowl.
was gonna.
No. That was the year they ended up going to the Super Bowl because of the whole 9/11, and the Yankees lost after that too.
Yeah.
It was really. I mean, what a
great
and then
series,
Giuliani we're stuck with now. I mean, all of it.
Oh, that guy's great.
This is all the
he's
worst.
Fun.
Out of all the things, I think
the
the
only-
Giants, the Yankees, and Giuliani are the worst parts of 9/11.
The only year people were behind the Yankees too, like everybody was.
Yeah.
Maybe
Totally.
in
I think it was
Iowa,
a great
bruh.
series.
Out here, it's banging.
Yeah. That same feeling of thinking we're under attack. That's what I was having, but I was like in a classroom. I think we talked. You were home.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like that's what I thought too.
Hungover.
Yeah. And the weird thing for me that day was in where I grew up in Southwest Iowa is they ground all the planes and everything because of what happened in the towers, and so. All of a sudden, like at 1 o'clock, we're in school and they're trying to still do school and stuff, but we're just watching on TV. All of a sudden, you just start hearing fucking fighter jets and planes, and it's because they took Bush to Omaha. And so the Air Force One flies over our school, and you see fighter jets all around it and shit. And it was so eerie because like you never were aware of a plane flying over the school.
Yeah.
Then once there wasn't any for a couple hours on the worst day, and then all of a sudden there was a couple, you were like, oh fuck, ugh. Hell of a time.
So, do you want to guess what year I graduated from high school?
First off, tell me what grade you were in when 9/11 happened. Okay, I think because I assumed you guys were probably both around. Do you have any guesses? We have nothing so far.
I always go 05, man.
05?
That's a good one.
I'm going to say 04.
01.
01, wow. That's how you celebrate our country getting attacked? By leaving your... Jesus Christ.
So, I was in this freshman year of college. It was college just started a couple days prior.
Yeah.
And,
where were you at?
a college of Staten Island.
Oh, fuck.
Right?
Smithtown?
What?
No, Staten Island.
Staten
Sorry.
Island.
Long
I
Island.
thought it was Long Island.
Jeez.
I have one
Staten
reference.
Island is
I'm like,
Staten Island.
I'm dumb as shit.
So I was in I had just gotten to school. Class was I'm like about to walk into the classroom. I walk by a room that has a television on.
Yeah.
I see both towers. I see smoke, and I'm like baffled. I don't know what's going on. And I didn't think much of it. I'm like, oh, it's kind of the same thing, an accident. Then second tower. Then once I heard the Pentagon was attacked, then I was like, all right, we're actually under attack. Anything could happen.
Yeah.
So I'm in Staten Island, and then they all public transportation was like just shut down.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to get back home to Brooklyn. Didn't know exactly how that was going to happen. So I walked to the Verrazano Bridge with the intention of like, I'm just going to walk over this bridge.
A lot of bridge walking there.
Yeah. So, but the thing, the Verrazano Bridge, it doesn't have like a walkway.
Yeah.
Because it's too windy. So, but I was going to like do it anyway. So I walk up to the bridge, find a couple hundred people thinking the same
Doing
exact
the same thing. Yeah.
And then they won't let us. And we were like saying like, come on, let us go. We need to get back to Brooklyn. They don't let us. And then eventually they start like putting people in a bus and basically having one bus go back and forth. And then so we get on a bus, and then I finally get home. I'm not too far from after the Brooklyn side of the Verrazano Bridge. I walk home, just like confirm everybody from my family's okay. The only person I really knew that worked in the city was my brother, but he worked in a different, he worked in like Midtown. Okay. So, for the most part, especially for someone from here, it didn't affect me. There were definitely a lot of people that it's weird because I growing up around in Sunset Park was a very immigrant area. There weren't many people that worked at the World Trade Center. Like it's just like it's a lot of manual labor, sort of working class folk. Sure. And then it wasn't until like I started talking to a couple friends, and then I started hearing like, oh, they knew somebody that worked there. And then it wasn't until probably I think I got into like a more corporate job and started meeting people that like grew up in New Jersey. Sure. And there's so many people from New Jersey that worked at the World Trade Center.
That had family and stuff.
I have family, and that's when you realize.
Fuck.
My cousin grew up in Brooklyn, and he didn't know anyone that was affected by it. I knew like scores of people who had family that died. My sister worked in Lower Manhattan. She walked 93 blocks. She had high heels on, so she broke into a store with a bunch of people to get shoes to walk because there was no way off the island, but they were saying like, get as far away from the smoke as possible. Yeah. So they all just broke into somebody's store, and it was like a mom and pop. I feel terrible, but I'm sure they got their insurance.
Yeah, they were having a pretty rough day anyway.
Yeah, I feel like, well, you know what? Maybe they died during 9/11 and it didn't affect them. You know what I mean?
They were dinner on the restaurant, breakfast up there.
You know, what is it?
Like, honey, we've been selling shoes for 40 years. Time to celebrate.
Hey, bless their souls.
You know,
thank you.
Souls, boom, got them.
We lost 6,000 souls that day and 1,200 souls. Wait, is that right? 12,000 souls?
Yeah, Cantor Fitzgerald, if you had them. So, they broke in. Everybody like stole like comfortable shoes or like sneakers to walk in. She walked all the way up to like 90 something, and there was right on the water, there were ferries going back and forth to Jersey, and the line was long. I mean, she said it was like hundreds of people waiting online to take the ferry. And somebody yelled, "If you're pregnant, come to the front." And she's fat, so she was like, "Yeah, right."
Yeah.
She lied and said she was pregnant, and they let her on.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude, I might do the same ass thing.
100%.
I'd be like, they think it's triplets.
Yeah, exactly. I lost the first two, so I hope I don't lose this one. Now I get to go on now.
Looking at dudes being like, but I'm still like into it though. I'm still fucking around.
Yeah, she was fucking just pretending to be pregnant. But I remember we kept calling her cell phone number. Nothing was happening.
Yeah.
Office number. Nothing was working. And I remember when the phone call finally came from her, like 3 people like jumped to get the phone. Yeah. And there was no way. Like we tried to go like closer to the city after I got back to Newark. It's just impossible. Yeah. There was no way to do it. So like, yeah. So when we finally got the phone call from her, we're like, thank God.
Good.
I thought I got the big room.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is like, I mean, obviously it's a fun podcast. We ring up the worst thing that's happened to the country. But with those stories are so different than anyone else that I know. Even the other people from New York haven't had anything that's like that connected like yours, Alexis, like with your sister and everything like that. So it's wild. But now, Saved by the Bell. What do you guys think? Who are you, Mark or AC? What do we got?
Good show. I was a fan.
What was your shit growing up? You say you like games.
I did like games, but I mean, as far as cartoons, I was always, and maybe this is why I got into comedy. I was always into well-written shows. Even as like a kid, I was into jokes. Sure. So Animaniacs.
Yeah, totally.
Clever
Oh,
show.
yeah.
The Tick.
Holds up. Yeah, those are all
Tick,
great.
It's weird because I wasn't like, even as a kid, I wasn't like, oh, this is my type of humor. I just knew it was funny.
Yeah.
And I felt like I have an older brother.
Yeah.
And he's 8 years older. So like what we find funny is very,
different.
like,
Yeah.
well, I just wanted to be like him. If he found something funny, then I'm like, okay, let me understand why. Those were the shows that he liked. And I just kind of followed in his footsteps as far as like things to be interested in.
Yeah.
But yeah, those Tiny Toons.
Sure.
Anything that was just like pretty clever. Even SpongeBob now is just hilarious.
Yeah, and
also, SpongeBob's just killing it in the meme business.
Oh my God.
Sure, yeah.
It's
It's
next
beloved.
level.
It's weird. As a guy named Patrick, SpongeBob is a weird thing because immediately that was the most synonymous thing with you when I was in high school. So I missed it. I didn't love the show as like a child,
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden it's in my life because people are mentioning it to me. And it's weird now when you grow up to see the amount of people that like grown-ups who, because now, when you know that thing, when you're 35 and somebody's 30, that's nothing now, So like the amount of people that I have good friendships with who it's their everything, it's their maybe Animaniacs or, Tiny Toons and stuff like that. Yeah. What were you watching?
I am massive Animaniacs.
Yeah,
fan.
totally.
I didn't even remember I watched Animaniacs as like feverishly intense as I did until he said it. But like it was like I got all the references, the good feathers, all those things all made sense to me. And then as an adult, you rewatch it, and then you get to see the jokes for adults.
Yeah,
which did not happen when I saw Thundercats. That might be that just might be one of the most structurally terrible shows.
Yeah,
but the characters were amazing.
Yeah.
And there was another one. I used to watch I grew up on I was raised by television. Like
Sure.
My mother worked 5 jobs, so I got to watch whatever I wanted, and I got to stay up late all the time. So I watched a lot of Fawlty Towers and Monty Python as a kid. I'm a huge Fawlty Towers fan.
I didn't see Fawlty Towers until like last year. Like
really?
when it was on Netflix, and I fucking love it. And I've never been. I don't
See, I need to because I
You
love
still have
Monty
it.
Python so much.
And see, I've never been a Monty Python person, so maybe that's why I loved it as much as I did. Is because it was my first. I mean, I knew like fucking Holy Grail, but
I think the absurdity of Monty Python I enjoyed more as a child, but I think because I enjoyed it, I feel like I've outgrown it. Like I feel for some reason it's like that's the era in which I enjoy that. I don't get it now, but Fawlty Towers is just almost like if the British were to make an American sitcom, it's Fawlty Towers.
There's jokes. There was a couple episodes where I would, and I haven't done this since I was a kid, where I would seriously rewind it and be like, or backtrack and watch the whole sequence again. Like, and I'm a grown up and I'm a comedian. I'm surrounded by comedy all the time, and I'm fucking crying on the couch watching this. My wife's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
I've never I watched some Monty Python, but it never piqued my interest.
Well, you're an intellectual, of course.
Yeah, you know how it is.
Did you have any? Did you get into any of that sketch stuff? Like, were you ever like into The State or into Mr. Show or something?
Kids in the Hall.
Yeah, Kids in the Hall is great.
I did that, and I was. I mean, as like a teenager, once I was sort of more aware.
Yeah.
Like late night shows, I was obsessed
who's
with. David
your
Letterman was like the
yeah.
first person in my mind. I'm like, oh, that's kind of someone that I just like genuinely looked up to. And then, and this was sort of a curveball, especially at that age. But like Conan, was going from Letterman to Conan. I mean, I guess like they hosted the same show. But I initially, when I first started watching Conan, I didn't think I would end up being as obsessed with his show as much as I did. And it felt like, especially by the time I was in high school, I felt like I'm in a school predominantly Hispanic and black, and like they're not watching Conan, right?
Yeah.
And I felt like I was like the outlier.
Sure.
I was at my source of what I found hilarious was just like a little different than everyone else, and I brought that to school, like a little bit like self-deprecation, like they weren't used to that. You know? So
I had a kid in at the lunch table, like an asshole kid. I was doing a joke. I was reciting something Conan had said the night before.
Yeah.
And I said it at the table, and it got a huge laugh with a bunch of kids a grade ahead of me. And this asshole bully kid in that grade goes, "Where'd you get that, Regis Philbin?" And I was like, no, motherfucker, it was Conan O'Brien. And he's like, oh. And then all the people are like, ooh, he got you. and I like, it's to this day, I'm like, I want to tell him that like some bully, I want to say that bully's fucking name on Conan O'Brien. I think he's great now. I think he's got kids and stuff. He's probably having a good life.
Conan was cool because he was like the slow burn too. Because I can remember when the show came on and it was just like, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah.
And then a couple years later, it's like, yeah,
well, and
that guy.
He looked goofy. Same with Letterman. He was tall and he looked goofy. Jay Leno looks goofy, but not in like a fun way. Like that tall fucking pompadour and
but
shit.
like I think of Letterman as like the quintessential New York late night host.
Sure, yeah.
That is the guy that a New York audience would want to see. When Conan first started,
guy from Indiana, you know what I mean?
But he had the right attitude though.
Yeah, totally.
I'll give him that.
Yeah.
And I will say this: when Conan first started, it was so bad. My friends and I used to use it as a punchline.
Sure, yeah,
for
everybody
how bad
did.
it was. So, like, I think it might be my 5th or 6th grade yearbook. Somebody we used to sign over each other's face, over your own face, and one of my friends wrote something. If you keep doing such bullshit, I'm going to make you watch Conan O'Brien. Like it was, and I
penalty.
I still have it. Like I remember thinking how terrible it was, and then like maybe 2 years after that, it's all I cared about.
Yeah.
It was wildly funny, and what I loved about him is when a joke didn't work, he was the one who told you it didn't work, and it became funny because it didn't work. And I'd never seen that before. Letterman had this cocky sway to him about it. When it didn't work, he blamed the writers, and it was funny. Conan blamed himself, and I'd never seen that before. Because where we're from, to this day, even like hood comedians, there's no vulnerability whatsoever.
Totally,
you're the winner. It's like it's almost like hip hop. It's like very aspirational. You know what I mean? So you don't ever come across as the one who's done wrong. Conan was the first person I saw where it was like, I'm stupid. And you're like, oh, like, we all kind of are, you know?
Totally. I love that. Yeah, that's
it was
fun.
huge for me.
So you love Conan. Did you watch him every night, Ream?
Eventually, yeah. Especially like,
it's weird when you think about like
growing up
how much I did.
I can remember loving the, in the year 2000
bits
and
the
everything.
masturbating bear.
Or when they have the photos, they just got their photos back from some
Camel Toe Annie. Come on,
yeah.
Preparation H. Henry.
I remember watching Conan the night my nephew, who's now a freshman in college, just like you were when the towers went down.
Exactly.
He's a freshman in college, and the night he was born, we were in the hospital, and the fucking TV that's hanging in the room is on, and I'm like, let's see what Conan's doing. And I watched Conan, and then because the way they used to do it on NBC, it's on at 11. Well, fucking my nephew's taking forever to pop out.
Yeah, what's his deal?
3 hours later, they rerun it at 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Boom, I'm watching Conan again.
Yeah,
knowing all the
I
bits, saying them beforehand, making.
I was all
laugh.
about that rerun. At 3 in the morning.
Same. It was what got in college. That's what got me through was watching the rerun.
Plus, I mean, it was like the most alternative comedy thing on like
mainstream TV.
Yeah. Or at least a lot of the writers and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys are loving that stuff. So you guys didn't play soccer, but did you do other sports?
Yes, I played a lot of basketball. I also predominantly played handball. So my brother's a professional handball player.
No shit.
Yeah.
Now where was he when the towers fell?
He was at work, and he's fine. So
Great.
It worked out.
Fantastic.
But he is a professional handball player.
Yeah.
And he's been playing since he was about 8 years old. I grew up playing. That's why, especially in Brooklyn, in the 5 boroughs, you see handball courts everywhere.
All the time.
Do you know? And maybe you do. You're a man of the world. You know that like handball has no visibility really outside of New York, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm very aware.
It's in the Olympics.
Is it really?
No. Olympic handball is the meaning. That it's a different. The sport where it's like basically soccer with your hands. And you're tossing the ball to handball, and like in New York,
that's where you it's like racquetball, but
with your hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you go up against so my only reference for it is because of Ghost Rider on PBS, which was filmed in Fort Greene.
Yeah.
And there was like episodes that revolved around handball and playing handball and stuff. And so I remember as a kid, kind of the way you were with Conan, I'd go to school and be like, do you guys want to play handball? And they'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was like, I don't know. I think I got to teach you.
It's a great game, man. I mean, it's basically tennis without, you're hitting a ball over net. You're just hitting it to the wall.
Yeah.
And I played, in Brooklyn. That's the game that you play. You play that and basketball, basically. And my brother ended up he's older and he's not one of the best in the world anymore, but at one point my brother William Polanco, you can look him up, he was one of the greatest handball players that's ever played.
No, he's the Michael Jordan or the LeBron James of handball. I'm not making that up.
That's crazy.
You Google him and it's just people praising him over and over
This
again.
might be offensive, but can we get him over too? Get him on the couch? We'll try to get him.
Yeah, I'll hit him up on his beeper.
That's right. God damn. That blows my mind. What was that? What your guys' age difference? 8 years, you say?
8 years, yeah.
So what was that like? Because like I have an older brother. You have what was it like when your older brother is also like crushing it at this thing that you are kind of also trying to do?
So it's weird because like when he was at like his peak, right, per se, like in his mid-20s, I was in my late teens. I'm not really like, I can't travel the world with him. I can't really. So there's like there was a gap in our age where he's sort of growing up, right, and then I'm also like coming of age, and we just didn't. I sort of missed a part of his life.
Sure.
Yeah, I didn't really get to see him play at his peak. I saw him a lot when he was in his teens, and he was great.
Yeah,
and then but in his 20s, he started traveling all over the country. He was going to Europe.
Yeah.
So
go for it.
Did you ever have like people that were all excited that you were playing handball, and then eventually they were just
you're like that's Willie's brother.
Yeah. And then they were a little let down when you just like. I mean, he's all right.
He just keeps doing Conan bits. he keeps doing this, pretending Walker Texas Ranger. We don't even know what a Walker Texas Ranger is.
Well,
Park.
the best thing was in 2012, I went to Ireland with him.
Oh, cool!
And he was playing. There was a world tournament, and there were people from all over the world there playing. And he had gone there in like 2000. I want to say 2006 or 2004. So it was his second time there. So there were like kids that he met.
Oh, sure.
Who saw him play.
Yeah.
And then they see him in 2012, and it's like, then I go to the courts to go see him play. And there's like a bunch of little kids that rush up to him, like teenagers that are like asking him to sign the handball, sign their shirts. And I'm like, yo, what happened the last time you were here? Like, people know who you are.
They're all like, Daddy. And he's like, oh, shit.
Yes, these redheaded, very pale children are like, Dad.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if this is going to hold up.
He's like, hey, you don't tell nobody about this. He just starts handing out checks. Tell your mom. I said, okay, Shannon, right? That's probably her name.
No, and that was surreal.
That's
like,
awesome.
People really admire him. They respect him a lot. And he's also, so the reason handball has no visibility is because it's a very inner city sport.
Totally, yeah.
The people who do play are like, just like come from a rough background.
Yeah.
So it's tough to market the players themselves.
Yeah.
So my brother also did this a couple years ago. He went to Colombia to
South Carolina.
Exactly. We know the Colombia. There's no other one. But no, he went to like Bogota, Colombia,
capital,
and to do something for the World Games.
Okay.
So this is the thing before the Olympics. These are the sports that don't make it into the Olympics.
Yeah.
So he basically did a display of the game, like and did a tournament so that to hopefully get it into the World Games, to therefore hopefully get it into the Olympics at some point. But my brother is like, he's personable, charming, he could, and he's good at the game.
Sure.
So he's like a good person to be the face of the sport to some degree, and to be able to sort of sell the sport.
It'd be funny if your brother's a big ass ugly dude. You know? He looks like shit, smells weird, but he just crushes.
So hopefully in his later years, that's what he'll do for the game.
That's cool.
Is there an aspect of coaching in that? Like, could he be like, I don't know, like
he could, yeah. There's a possibility. I don't.
Maybe it seems like
it's weird. Handball thing. People, there's divisions that play into the 50s and 60s. Like even there in Ireland when I was watching games, I saw like from U10 to U70.
Sure.
So you can play for pretty long. There isn't like necessarily a business in coaching, but there are people like. So a couple last year, my brother met this kid from Valencia in Spain.
Okay.
And he stayed in Brooklyn, and he stayed with my mom. He stayed with my parents, and my mom just like took him in, and so he was able to like go and play games. And she was just like frustrated because he was like just ate so much food.
Sure.
He's just like he's like 18 years old. But he was like fit, and he was an athlete. And he just needed all this nutrition, so she was like frustrated. But he is a person that like he really looks up to my brother, and he's but he has more of the ambition, and he's in a good place where he can. In Spain, they actually respect their athletes, like and pretty much you could be a highlight player, right? They respect what you do. So he's trying to make the sport very relevant from a business perspective in Spain, and he's kind of like getting opportunity. And he's a good player, and he's like learning. New York handball players are the best in the world, but he's getting to a place where he can market the game better, and he's like figuring all that stuff out, and to the point where he's probably going to fly to Australia for a tournament and all this other stuff. So that's kind of like the next step in the sport.
Wow, that's amazing. I love that. I always just was like, you see sometimes some people playing when you walk down the street. I used to walk dogs, I'm not bragging. And I would see sometimes people playing, and sometimes you'd be like, that looks like somebody just fucking around. And then you'd walk by another one, and it'd be somebody like having, like working more, doing more than I've done in a year, you know?
No, people take it seriously. I remember,
it's awesome.
I have a very vivid memory as a child. I remember my brother playing doubles, and this guy Ray that he always used to play with, and that was like his mentor. And Ray was a very passionate player, very vocal. You know, who was the tennis player that
McEnroe?
McEnroe. That was flipped out. Ray, very very similar, but handball courts in Brooklyn especially are the fencing is always like around the court. I remember standing behind while they were playing. He missed some shot. It hit into the ground. He was so furious. And so I'm literally right in front of him. He turns around. He smacks the fence so hard that completely shatters his hand. Like it starts bleeding. So it's literally like I'm a child.
Yeah.
I see someone smack into a fence. Blood all over his hand, and he's just like, let's go. He's like, wrap it up, or next play. I'm like, all right, these guys are for real.
Is that why you don't high five? That's the reason, right?
the trauma, just too much PTSD.
So everybody says at comedy shows, everybody's like, don't fucking after this set. And no matter how good he does, don't high five.
If he finishes first in a race, just shake his hand.
Exactly. Yeah. Better
Senator's handshake.
Honestly, it's best just to keep hands out of it altogether. He loves soccer. He fucking hates hands.
Yeah. Just bow.
The important thing for I think handball to understand culturally is that it's played in so many different ways. I played it a lot growing up in a game called Asses Up. Do you guys know what that is?
Is that real?
Yeah.
No.
So
throw it at their ass if they lose.
So you have to put both of your hands on the wall. And they take like it's that a lot of times you'll play with the racquetball ball. They're hard to find, so you play with tennis balls. And I mean, these are kids, these are Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans. Every one of these kids knows how to throw a fastball.
Yeah, totally.
And they're throwing a tennis ball at your ass. It's the most horrific. So there's they're well prepared to throw this.
That's coaching right there.
Yeah,
That's how you get good at something.
But like I played Asses Up all the time.
Right down
and it's
the
like,
pipe.
Yeah, and dude, and it's funny because like you have to bounce it or you have to get it off a bounce. And if you miss, you're going up there. And there was this one kid who ended up getting drafted by the Indians because he could throw 92 miles per hour left-handed.
Jesus.
And we would make him throw right-handed and way back, like take 5 steps back, because if he missed you and it pegged the wall, your butt was squeezed. So it's like the sound of a tennis ball hitting the wall. And what I can only imagine is 65, 75 miles an hour when the rest of us are throwing 30.
Yeah.
It was just horrific. In fact, one
he
time
didn't even like handball. He was like like how there's all-time pitcher and stuff. He's just there just to fucking zing it at you guys.
he's the Mariano Rivera. They bring him in just to zing, and then he goes back to eat more Doritos.
Hey, has anybody thought of that? Sending like one of those MLB pitchers over to like the war zones and have him like chuck bombs at the like fastballs at ISIS or something.
It might be against a contract.
The baseball player or the Geneva Convention?
Yeah, both.
Okay.
They did it in the 40s.
Yeah, sure. I was just thinking, sending a Louisville Slugger on their back or something. Okay.
This kid, some of these kids were so good and threw
that's
so hard
fucked up.
that we used to make them throw it while it was in a shopping bag.
Yeah,
because it was
because the air pressure. I thought it was because it was going to make it softer.
No, it would like essentially stop it. It was like the only way you could take it. I remember one of the kids' mothers thought he was getting touched because of the bruise on his asshole.
Yeah.
Like the bruise on his butt cheek was so vicious. She thought he was getting like molested.
Yeah. The kid lipstick marks on his neck.
Yeah,
Also,
I'm not getting molested. It's handball.
Yeah, I'm not getting molested, Mom. My friends are just chucking balls at my asshole. Wait, so you played that? Did you play any other sports?
Yeah, I played baseball. I was a
Baseball.
catcher. And
Okay.
I was really good. So there was this, Newark, New Jersey had this thing called Project Pride where they take like all the kids from the hood and they make an all-star team out of it. And you go to Puerto Rico to play their all-star
cool.
team. And I went to that twice. And I remember, in the final game, I had a infield home run, but it was just because of all the errors.
Yeah.
And the whole joke was like, I couldn't make it all the way around the field if I wanted to. And I slid into home because it was just so gassed. I just had to do it. And,
Did you feel any foam? When you slid into home? Because that's something else. If that's diarrhea.
okay.
Did that not reach
Cha-cha.
I
Newark?
did not,
That didn't
no,
get to Newark?
did
Okay,
not.
you guys would have loved it.
I mean, honestly, side stitch when you said it.
I'm going to Google it, and then I'm going to find out tomorrow that it was like my coach.
It makes sense because when you laugh real hard, it puts your sides in stitches. So I think
Thank
it comes
you.
from something. I just never.
Maybe I
heard
was just so fucking funny when I was laying on the ground. They're like, I'm getting side stitched.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Anywho.
Anyway, long
You're
story
sliding
short,
into home, I
slid into
apologize.
home because it was exhausted, but I was a really good catcher. But I never played with those. You ever heard of those things called pizza slices? The things they put behind your knees.
No.
It's to save your knees for catchers. They look like foam wedges.
Okay.
You put behind your legs, so you sit on those essentially, not put the pressure on your knees. I never had those, and to this day, my knees still kill
Fuck.
me. Yeah.
Ugh. Makes me hurt to think about.
Yeah, I've never even heard of those. I always hated being catcher.
Yeah.
And it was just Tiwi.
Did you play baseball?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Were you always? What was your position always?
pretty much right field.
Right field. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I like a one where you can go in the bag and just fuck around. You know, I love laying in the grass. That's my whole thing. Goddamn. Okay.
I could hit okay, but I couldn't do anything else.
Did you ever hit a home run?
Uh-uh.
Do you ever hit? You played. Was that a home run? Or was that just
Technically,
a run-in?
it's infield, but I've hit multiple.
yeah, technically, of
I've hit
course.
home runs all the time.
No shit. You ever do home run derby to this day?
No, but you know what?
That'd be fun.
We did like all-star games for when Parents' Day kind of thing, because most of the time parents wouldn't be around to come to the games.
Sure, yeah.
So
Your
they did this
father.
thing, yeah. So they're like, hopefully dad shows up. So they did this thing where
It'd be fucked up if that's when he does show up. First time you're 12, it's Parents' Day. He's like, "Hey, buddy,
Heard you're an all-star.
I got money on you, kid.
what's up, Alexander? What am I saying? Is it
Or what are you, FUBU? So I remember it was obviously the metal bat days, and I remember I
Yeah.
had like bing.
Well, they
I heard
can't wear-
that bing, and it hit the guy who was selling like popcorn.
Nice.
On the other side, it hit him in the leg, and we were all laughing. And to this day, I was like, now that I'm an adult, I'm like, that must have hurt.
Oh, so
Oh,
bad.
yeah.
Yeah. God damn.
They don't have
But we
metal bats
laughed and
anymore?
laughed. Huh?
They don't have metal bats anymore?
Maybe they do. I don't know. I don't
Oh.
hang around Little.
Little League is still
Yeah.
this common metal bats. But I played. I was more of a shortstop, but I was a very
Okay.
skinny, small boy. Couldn't really. At best, I could maybe slap it over the second baseman if I
Sure.
tried really, really hard. But
know-
and wiffle ball also. I was
yeah.
growing up in Brooklyn. That's all we mainly played wiffle ball.
Brooklyn, like growing up in Brooklyn in like the 90s, kind of makes me think of Brooklyn, of like the stories of Brooklyn in the 50s. Like, do you guys ever play stickball? Was that a thing?
Yeah, it's very,
Is
very,
that
very
real?
popular. Yeah, it's very, very real.
Because like that's like what I would think of at the beginning of like a mob movie, you know,
Stick
like
ball,
wiffle
handball,
ball, all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
elbow ball.
yeah.
Anything we couldn't afford equipment. That was
Sure.
really, we took broom handles.
Well, that's like those fuckers in Canada play hockey, and then like we talk about all this time. That costs like thousands of dollars to play hockey, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
crazy.
coming from when I go to Dominican Republic and I see how the kids there play because they also can't afford a lot of equipment. What they do is they take broom handles and then they take the tops of milk cartons and they pitch the milk carton caps to each other, and that's how they hit them, and that's how they get so good at hitting
'cause it's-
baseballs
yeah.
because it's so incredibly small.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah,
Damn.
I wasn't that good though.
No. Well, you got time.
Yeah, you never know.
That's some hardcore pogging right there.
That's right. Yeah. I just found out. You guys remember Pogs, of course, right?
Of course.
Did you guys know that it's from a
Badass white girl.
It's from what? No,
Oh,
not
sorry.
that. You maniac. No, it's from an actual drink, like a pomegranate juice, maybe, or something. It's
Milk.
No. The term Pog is a juice in Hawaii that you would get at like the grocery store, and they had those same things that the milk caps have. And on them, there would be a little creepy guy. That little guy that was the Pog logo.
Yeah.
He was the logo of like this juice company in Hawaii in like the early 90s. And then it like eventually just grew into, and then they're like, oh, well, we're making these lids for the top of the juice cartons. We'll just start selling them also. and that spawned what became Pogs.
That's incredible.
Isn't that weird?
I went through a Pog
fuck
phase,
yeah,
man. Hard. I was obsessed
yeah?
with collecting them. I was an obsessive kid, like with
Really?
collecting stuff and organizing stuff. I loved, it started with like comic book cards,
Sure.
then baseball cards, basketball cards. I loved like the notebooks and putting them in order and collecting
yeah.
the entire set.
Did
And-
you grow up?
You were a completionist. I was all about hunting down like the rookies
okay.
and like the investment side of it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Wow,
Getting
wow.
the Beckett or Tough Stuff.
Yeah, same here.
Being like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
got to get that $5 Griffey.
Because
card.
my brother started with comic books and he collected a bunch of those but yeah, I couldn't. Every cent I got, any allowance, anything, I would beg my parents for money just so I can get another pack.
The
to-
90s were like a lie, basically, as far as like investments.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Because people were just getting rich off of stuff from like the 30s because they realized that there was a market for it. So then all of a sudden there was like this fake thing for comic books and baseball cards.
Yeah.
To where you just
You thought you were going to make $1 million
Yeah.
off of your fucking King Griffey Jr. card.
My cards have gone down in value.
Yeah.
I actually
in 20 years.
I still have the first Spawn, 2 copies of it.
What do you mean, the VHS tape with John Leguizamo?
No, Spawn, the comic book.
Oh, that's sick.
because I thought
It was going to be $1 million.
I actually have it too. I
Yeah,
have,
fuck.
when Spawn came out, that was like, especially Image when they were making
Yeah.
comic. I'm like, oh, let's get on board with this new
Spawn?
comic book company.
I just saw that they're doing.
Is it
I
worth
don't think
anything?
it's worth anything because
No.
they've made so many of them.
Yeah.
like I don't have comic books. I never read it. I don't care.
Yeah.
My friends were big collectors. They had the one where like Superman dies.
Everybody
and I'm
did.
like, and I'm like, who gives a shit? It's cartoons. It's a drawing in a book. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go talk to girls. You
That's
know?
right, yeah.
But no, we didn't. They didn't
God
talk
damn.
back to
No,
us.
why would
So
you?
I should
Why
have been
would they?
reading.
Look
I
at
should
your
have been
attitude
reading.
out
Yeah,
there.
I should have been reading
Shitting
comic
on everything.
books.
Let people enjoy stuff, young boy.
And the Pogs I never got. What do you used to take the big one and you smack the top and the ones that
the
fell?
big one, you know it's called a slammer.
I didn't know that. I did not know that. And then that what the ones that fall are yours now?
If they flip upside down.
Oh, is that the rule? I just
if
thought they fall.
Yeah, you stack the fuckers up. You hit them with the slammer of your choice. You could use a really heavy weighted one if your parents got money. And then the ones that flip, those are yours if you want to do tradesies. You don't have to do tradesies.
I just didn't get the game.
I
and
was
then
more collectible. I liked having ones that looked like cool.
Everyone was walking around with like these medicine pill
Yeah,
things
the tube
with
things.
the tubes with the stuff in it. And the only people I saw carrying those were the people selling drugs.
Yeah.
Because they had drugs in it and Pogs. So
Yeah.
there's like kids in Catholic school uniforms
Ooh.
and like the dude on the corner.
Yeah.
We're all Pog collectors now.
That's like a sketch right there. Like it's 1994, and you're like, "Hey, buddy, what do you got in there? You got any?
Got any slammers?
you got any slammers?" And he's like, "Yeah, buddy, I got some slammers.
Yeah.
What do you need?"
Something like that.
Oh, that's great. That's boy.
I always liked collecting the coin op baseball or football helmets.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
then you just try and get the whole team.
I did
Or the whole league.
especially while I worked at GameStop. I was collecting the Todd McFarlane
You
action
love
figures.
him. Yeah,
They
yeah.
had some good figures.
Hey, that's a good figure. The Spawn.
Well,
It started with Spawn,
Yeah.
but then they got into basketball and then
Yeah.
NFL.
Like McFarlane Toys really took toy collecting up a tick.
Yeah.
Because there was that whole market out there that they didn't even know. was just
Collectors, making them specifically for bypassing the
the kids
children
and everything.
altogether.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't he? Maybe I'm wrong, but did he just do all the Simpsons toys too, or maybe release them at least? I know I don't think he crafted them, but when all the Simpsons toys came out, I thought he had something to do with that.
I don't know, but he's got to be he's got to be doing pretty good between the.
I watch that Corn Freak on a Leash video every
he's on
morning.
the 600th. I saw they got Spawn 600 coming out, and it's
Damn.
like the longest running
Indie comic.
creator controlled comic ever.
Oh, that's cool.
I know StockX. You guys know that website, that app? It's for sneaker collectors.
Oh, cool. Are
They
you a
just-
sneaker?
A little bit, but
Okay.
I don't have enough money to collect. But
Yeah.
they just have a figurine department now.
Oh,
so
cool.
like it's like the resale value. But I mean, my wife has a couple of these things because she got them as like gifts for doing photography. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't get it. It kind of looks like Steamboat Willie.
Yeah.
But it's got X's on the eyes. This is valuable.
Yeah.
It's got dust on it. Like, can we move on? Can we get a car? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Doesn't make sense to me.
I kind of get it. I'm a collector similar to what you were saying with things like that, but the things I collect have no value a lot of time. Like I'm not collecting them like you were, Ream, where you were looking at the Beckett. I
Yeah.
was doing it because I grew up poor and it was cool to have things.
I just
you know?
fucked around, and I wish I got that Billy Ripken card.
Yeah, the one that says "fuck" on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. You were big. It sounds like Giants and Yankees. You don't know about Billy Ripken? Oh, Cal's cousin. Yeah. cousin. No,
Yeah,
his-
there's a limited card where he has the word "fuck" written on
on
the
his baseball
on the
bat.
baseball
but they
bat.
printed the card and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You were Giants and Yankees. What were you watch pro sports too, Chris?
Yeah, Giants, Mets. I was more of a Mets fan.
sure.
What about the Knicks? They were good back then.
I was Knicks as well. Obsessed with the Knicks. I used to watch the Knicks with my friends, and we as kids we would always wish the best on the Knicks, especially during free throws. So we would hold. Somebody would touch the TV and then hold hands
Love
and
it.
like link to each other to give all our energy to this
Yeah.
to John Starks taking this
Yeah.
free throw or whatever. But no, the Knicks were. I didn't grow up with cable, so I didn't get to really watch like too many regular season games. Would watch NBA on NBC.
Yeah.
The John Tett. I mean, that was like you grew up with that music. But the playoff time. I
Sure.
mean, in the '90s, there was
Did
nothing
you guys
better.
go to a lot of games being around here?
No, too poor. I didn't have any
yeah.
money to go to games.
That makes sense, I guess.
I got to go to a couple Nets games because they used to give those tickets away
when
for
they were
free.
in Jersey.
When they were in Jersey, and I remember the Knicks were playing the Nets, and I forget what the situation was, but I had just. Do you guys remember Anthony Mason?
No.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he used to get words written on the side of his head.
Oh,
So,
cool.
Badass.
like it was a
he's in a
total
Beastie
badass.
Boys song.
You
got-
saying shaved
and
into
got
the
traded
side?
Yeah,
to
he would
Larry
get it
Johnson.
shaved. He would get it shaved in. It was like all designed. So me and my friends would go to get our fades done.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, we're going to watch the Knicks play. Like, boom, get some phrases stuck in my head. Like, shave something on the side of my head. And the guy did an amazing job. I forgot what it was said. It was something that he said. It was like on a poster.
Yeah.
It was on the side of his head. I was like, yo, look.
Just
exactly
do
like
it.
this. It's perfect. Here's the problem. It was like 4 days before the game, and
Mm-hmm.
my hair basically grew out by that point. So like it just looked like I had a bad haircut on the right side of my head.
Yeah. Somebody on the subway's looking at it. Like, I think it says "do it" on the side of the guy's head. I love that though. Was that the time? Am I wrong? Was that Latrell Sprewell? Was that the Jet?
That was
Later.
later in the '90s.
Okay.
Yeah, he came like
were-
98, 90.
Yeah.
There were two little Knicks squads.
Yeah.
I mean that was the later one. With,
I mix up any because I
like Allen Houston.
Yeah, okay. Because I was a big Spurs fan back then, and I didn't pay any attention to any Eastern Conference team ever until like and I didn't even, I was like a very casual basketball fan. And the Spurs sucked back then. They just had Robinson and stuff, so like I would watch those games occasionally. But yeah. So
But no, Charles Oakley, Patrick
Ewing was my
Anthony
guy
Mason. I mean,
prior to Patrick SpongeBob, it was Ewing. Was,
okay.
I literally there was people when I was on Pee Wee Soccer. That's what they would call me. It was Ewing sometimes. It was like a
Amazing.
joke, because I look like him. But yeah, Patrick Ewing, boy, he's one of our best Patricks. Him and Stewart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you guys Star Trek kids?
I was more. I was into it, but more. I really started paying attention and enjoying it more. Deep Space Nine. That's when
for sure. Yeah.
That's when I was like, oh, okay, this is because that was like a cooler version of Star
and it was
Trek
yours. It's not. This isn't your older brother's Star Trek.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but I even still, I wasn't like, definitely more Star Wars. Like follow that more and pay attention to that more. But Deep Space Nine was like, I was like, oh, this is like, it felt like a soap opera.
Yeah.
Plus,
a lot of time at a bar.
Yes. Very fun. And I think about it all the time. I think we talk about it a lot on the show. That Deep Space Nine episode where it's called Babel, where they all start talking fucking random, but their brains think they're saying real words. But they're just saying gibberish, and that terrified me. The idea that could happen, and I wouldn't fucking know. It could be happening now.
Sure.
Sometimes I have sets where it might be happening. You know what I mean? But goddamn, yeah.
I didn't like Star Wars or Star Trek. I never got into it. I remember the one, the dude from Reading Rainbow.
Oh,
LeVar.
Yeah, he looked like he was looking through the thing my sister used to wear in her hair. You know what I mean? Like, how's he see through that?
Exactly. That's what we used to put on. Yeah.
So I never understood it, and then I tried to watch a couple episodes. And I thought the whole thing was these guys were trying to get home,
Oh, that's
It
Voyager,
wasn't.
buddy. You'd love Voyager.
but it wasn't. They were like, no one ever gets home. You know what I
They
mean?
tell you the mission in the top.
Yeah. There's a whole thing about it.
Yeah, I really don't pay
You
attention.
don't like credits.
No.
You hate reading.
Oh
Remember?
God, I
Yeah.
shut off. You
Yeah,
put
yeah.
words up. But you know what show I did like that's sci-fi? I was much more a fan of like crime stuff. But
Yeah.
I love Sliders. Do you guys
Sliders?
remember the show
Oh yeah.
Sliders?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. with-
Sliders was one of my favorite shows, and it would fuck me up.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
The one where they were like penicillin hadn't been invented yet, and the guy takes like the bread and the sugar and the water, and like simple things like that, like government control, all those little things like
I'm a sucker for other dimensions.
Me too,
and stuff
baby.
like that, and like alternate reality.
I'll never understand it fully, but I really enjoy watching
That's
it.
why I like it, is because if I was I've lately, just in the last like year or two, gotten into comic books a lot. The thing I like about it is I don't have a brain for science at all.
Yeah.
So when Doctor Strange does something fucking ridiculous, I'm like, yeah, sure, I bet that happens.
There's a lot of good ideas out there, but Sliders, that's a hell of a pitch.
Yeah, right? There you go.
Sliders I enjoyed it, but I think I had already used up a lot of my
Your sci-fi brain?
or at least for that type of series with Quantum Leap.
Yeah, totally. Quantum Leap.
That's
Yeah.
Quantum Leap that I every single week.
Me too.
So my brother was obsessed with it. I was just equally, and then from beginning to end, you just like, who is he gonna leap into next? You know,
I just always I lived for the reveal.
Oh, yeah.
where he'd look into the mirror.
Oh, boy.
and then he'd play that little music.
And I think that show was a great example of how formulaic like television used to be, and how that's how it was supposed to be,
And it worked.
And if you deviated from it, you were an asshole. Like,
Quantum Leap was a show that I watched all the time when I was a kid. Loved it, absolutely loved it. Like would play it on the playground.
I love the episode when he's a monkey.
That's a good
And
one.
he's like running around in his underwear the whole time.
The one where he goes to back to when he's a kid, and he's like, I think he's his dad, maybe
His brother's
Or he's
going
his
to war.
brother,
the
maybe?
one where he leaps into himself, which is like basically how the show ends. But that was like it was crazy.
The series when it ends,
Trying to get his dad to like eat healthy.
that fucker makes me like emotional when you find out that it kind of ends with Al's story, and Al gets to go dance with his wife.
Al's
and shit.
very canceled.
Why? Oh, because he's a skirt chaser.
Yeah, like
Smoking cigars.
Except for he's a hologram.
Oh, he
so
said the N-word a bunch too on the show. We always, the 90s were wild, guys.
Wait, what? I've
he
never seen
never
an
did.
episode. Okay, I've never seen an episode of Quantum Leap, so you could send.
Would it be
anything.
great if you? Oh no, you don't know that? Yeah, that's
Yeah,
like
no,
what's
they were
mostly-
allowed to back then. I'm like, wait, I
no.
feel like I
there
was there.
Did you guys ever see Alien Nation? Do you remember this?
I do remember that.
Okay, it was a series of movies. It was like a movie, a big movie.
made
in
for
the 80s.
TV movie, right?
Maybe. Yeah, probably. But then it became a series for 2 years, and it was when Fox was brand new.
Yeah.
And I think it's good. I don't know fucking nothing, but I think it's good. But it's when Fox is brand new. It's like 89 or 90. And the premise is these aliens show up on Earth, and
they
now
become
they're
like
just,
a part of society.
They're just part of society, and so it's kind of like a big like racial talking about race is how they're using it. But they say the N-word a lot in that show.
How about this? They had sex because they would touch each other's backs.
That's right.
I remember that because as a
Oh,
kid,
yeah.
my mother would be like, "What are you watching?" And I'm like, "Why is this lady freaking out
Yeah.
at a
How
back scratch?" But I remember thinking, "I love back scratches."
Totally,
so it makes
yeah,
sense.
it makes sense,
Yeah,
yeah.
make me feel good. So I'm surprised this woman.
They got drunk by drinking spoiled milk. And so
Oh,
that
really?
made me think all the time. I was like, maybe we could do that. That's a way to
Then you
fuck
got
around on a Friday night.
dysentery.
You know? Yeah. Have some spoiled milk, touch my friend on the back, find out I got some problems. You know?
Cholera.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I wouldn't show that I used to love. Like I loved more like I grew up on shows like Mad About You.
Oh, totally, yeah,
Like
yeah.
repeats of Mad About You, repeats of Night Court.
Yeah, baby.
Dude, this
all
is like,
those sitcoms.
all those like weird, like situational things were like, this isn't real. Like the judge who has like magic tricks.
Totally, yeah.
That guy I think just died, right?
He did. Harry Anderson. Yeah,
Yeah, he just
passed
died.
away. We watched an episode of a couple. I was like, we watched a thing together. No, that was for the podcast.
Yo, Empty Nest, Nurses,
Yes.
all these.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a fucking shared universe.
Yeah, shared universe.
Yeah.
Like all those shows, like I used to watch them and I'm like, why do I know? Like I would know, like I would talk to adults and I would have like joke references that they understood because of those shows.
Totally.
I remember like all the people that worked at the same hospital as my mother, like, yo, your son is very mature. And it's like, he's the least mature human being.
He just watches Designing Women. And
Yeah.
I love that show. There was a great show about waitresses on a rooftop restaurant.
It wasn't called Just the Tip, but it's something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh.
It's a living.
It's a living.
And the blonde lady from Crystal Bernard from Wings was on it when she
Yes.
was like younger. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And there was an episode where they got locked up there because of the electrical power went out. And there was a guy who played the piano and he played it beautifully.
Yeah.
So they got this whole thing to like have him play the piano, but he only knew the one song.
Yeah.
It was just like, I remember those so vividly. I try to go back and watch
Wouldn't
them
it
on
be fucked
YouTube.
up
I would watch any sitcom.
It would be
growing
fucked up if
It
we
was
go
on
back
TV.
and find out that restaurant was the restaurant at the top of the World
Oh
Trade
my
Center. We just
God.
don't know it.
And that's why he was playing the piano because they're dying.
That's
right.
right.
Like
They're
the
all.
Titan-
It's like
the
Lost.
Titanic.
They're all in purgatory.
That isn't what happened.
You don't know that. You can't can't prove it. I'll tell you that much.
We got to go back.
True.
Yeah, we got a quantum leap to 2001.
That's right. I have not thought of that show since it was on.
Like Christian and I, the question we get asked a lot when we do like media and stuff is like,
Oh, that was my next question, but go ahead and jump to it.
is who are your comedy influences?
Yeah.
And he always says George Carlin. And George Carlin is one of my biggest comedy influences because of the George Carlin Show, which is a sitcom that lasted for 2 years. For some reason, it sticks in my brain as like a very transformative time for me that I saw it. And
Fox
everyone's
Sunday night. It's hard to fuck with it.
Yeah,
As a
and
kid,
everyone said it like they hated it, and everyone said like he hated it, and he hated the writing. But like Alex Rocco, who played the mobster, that he shot a gun at him in one episode. Like all these things like stay in my brain. Like every once in a while when my wife has to like travel and I'm stuck at home, I'll just like stay up till 4 a.m. and watch them all
Literally,
on YouTube.
that's all I do too.
yeah.
I just watched a bunch of, or maybe it was just a couple. All I could find of, what's his fucking name? Died in the car crash out in the desert. Who am I talking about? Comedian yelled. Sam
Kennison.
Sam Kinison had a show where he was like an angel. And
Oh,
he
yeah,
and
yeah.
he was like a little guy the whole
Was
time.
it going to be a spinoff of Married with Children?
Maybe it might have been a spinoff. I don't know.
I just know he's an angel in an episode
So then,
of
yeah,
Married with
totally.
Children,
Then,
so I'm curious
and
if...
I there's like a couple episodes of it on YouTube, and it's so bad. And you think now, like, because he was like the rock star comedian, so it'd be like today if like I don't know who the biggest comedian right now is, like if or more Chappelle or like if Mulaney. Well, I guess that kind of if Mulaney also was on the most like worst show that has come, but not even like Mulaney was a good show that just didn't work.
Yeah,
his
yeah.
sitcom, but like this was like terrible. It was very weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of bad shows.
Yeah.
You remember Herman's Head?
Oh,
loved
yeah.
it.
What a great concept for a
Yeah.
show. Did you ever watch
They
Herman's
made-
Head?
Pixar fucking...
Pixar, the Inside Out is like the same idea.
Is it? It's
Yeah.
the inside of your brain is like an apartment with 4 different people.
Yeah.
And I remember the fat sloppy guy.
He shows up every once in a while
Yeah,
and stuff.
and,
he was in Down Periscope.
Yeah, and Lisa Simpson was on it.
Yeardley Smith.
Yeardley Smith was like
Yeah.
an actress in it. Yeah. God
Really
damn.
blew my young mind, the fact that she was from The Simpsons.
Wait, the
Totally.
lady with the glasses?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the secretary?
That's Lisa Simpson.
Lisa
Uh-huh.
Simpson. It's the same voice too. She didn't even like
It's just
change
the.
it.
I don't
Yeah.
watch Simpsons. Isn't it just the?
You've never seen Simpsons?
Oh, Lisa. I'm thinking of Maggie.
What? Were you that? You were like, who'd they hire for that? For Maggie's
Oh my
sound
God.
effect of.
That's so good.
Liv Tyler.
Yeah, that's right.
Liz
no,
Taylor.
no. Yeah, Liz Taylor. That's
Not
the one.
Liv Tyler, Liz
Oh,
Taylor.
God damn. Fuck. Okay, so we've been doing, you guys are fantastic. By the way, this has been a really fun episode. We should always have 2 guests on because it's a lot less work for you and me, and this fucker flies by. Okay, so one thing we like to always talk about on the show is snacks.
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
And foods and stuff like that. Christian, growing up, what's something, and maybe right here, maybe we could probably even go get it. What is something that, as like you just, I don't know, it's a hard question. Usually I say, what's something when you go home, the first thing you want to have? Either something from the neighborhood or something that your parents cook or something that you cook that reminds you of home?
I had this weird ritual that started
Okay.
probably around junior high school, especially
Oh,
when
yeah, buddy, me too. Never stopped, you know?
Oh boy!
Yeah.
No, I had this weird ritual of I after junior high, after school, I used to maybe play handball, play basketball, something, some sport, and then go back.
Jesus, we get it. Is this about your brother again?
Then go to a bodega.
Okay.
Get Sour Power straws.
Okay, yeah.
Right, and then go home and get some, like ice water.
Mm-hmm.
And sit in front of the TV watching some cartoon.
Yeah.
And dip the Sour Power straws into the water so it could kind of like freeze a little bit.
Yep.
It'll be a little harder to chew, but if it just tasted like a little sweeter for some
Yeah.
reason. And that's it. And that was we used to go through a whole bag.
And then at the end, your water probably has like a fucking
Yeah,
zing to
and
it
I would
too,
like
right?
drink it. I wouldn't finish it because it felt like it was too much at
Yeah.
once.
You don't deserve
Because
that.
New
Yeah,
York,
I didn't earn it.
New York or Brooklyn kids, they're pretty much like inherently latchkey, right? Just because the fact they
Oh, sure.
for the commute home.
Yeah.
I see it all the time. Or they got like like the food cart set up outside of schools. I always see and get a kick out of, but you're able to
Yeah,
go home and get whatever candy you want.
Yeah, it is a big change in your life when all of a sudden your mom is walking you to school.
Yeah.
and then you have to go to school on your own.
Sure.
Right, and it was just like I had to walk maybe 6 or 7 blocks, but it was
Yeah.
like, all right, I'm a big man now.
Yeah.
When you were a kid, did you have because everybody in our neighborhood, everybody has those little scooters that are like 3-wheel. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay, no,
Did you have that? As a
no,
kid?
I
Was that
did
a thing?
not. I mean, I had the most I had was like I would borrow my brother's bike.
Okay.
But I never had anything.
These scooters, I think it might be just a trend of the last couple of years here, but like every morning you see parents walking their kids because we live right by a school, but then the parents all just have to fucking leave with this. So
yeah,
if I'm on time for work, I just see bunches of people walking to school with their kids in the scooter, the kids riding the scooter. If I'm late for work, it's just all these fucking parents walking home holding the scooter over their shoulder or whatever, you know? And I just wonder, like, how, like, is that just like a status thing right now? Is every kid, is it Pogs? Does every kid have to have a scooter?
It feels just like, maybe it's like all these things are just way more affordable.
Maybe,
like,
yeah.
I can't
They're
imagine.
all like the same. They look exactly the
yeah,
same.
yeah.
Outside of carrying it, those scooters look pretty practical.
Yeah.
Man.
I'd love it.
You see somebody scooting by and you're just walking like a chump.
Totally, yeah. Like a chump.
But you see dudes like just on the subway now,
Yeah.
like, with them, and they usually go to work.
Totally.
Or they collapse, so
Yeah.
they're like a little bit
You ever see
easier to
those-
carry.
with those bikes that like
Yeah.
they fucking you're there on the subway. I was like, buddy, you paid all that money, man.
When I was in Oakland, they had like little e-scooter things
yeah.
that are like city bikes.
Yeah.
Except for you just jump on a little e-scooter and
Yeah, they're
scoot away.
the birds. Those are all over L.A. too. They're really fucking hell.
Have you guys ever used Revel?
Yeah.
He got one.
They're the goddamn greatest.
Yeah.
My head's too big, and I'm.
You don't fit in the double XL?
Oh, it's pretty close.
I
look goofy.
So
Yeah.
do I. I mean, I got a big old noggin,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
mine just about fits in the double X. A little tight, but I love those. But growing up, I never had the straw, the sugar straw. Every once in a while, we had the dipping sticks. Remember?
Oh,
Fun
yeah.
dip, and then you just like forget the dipping
Yeah.
stick. And you just pour the sugar.
Yeah.
in
That's
your
my
mouth.
baseball little league go-to.
Yeah.
You get the fun dip.
Yeah, the fun dip was great. I think for me the biggest thing was like besides like pizza. Pizza has always been a big part of my life. I would get a slice after school. I would get a lemon iced tea Snapple.
Oh, okay.
Right, and you hit the back of it, so it makes it like
Yeah.
There's still glass bottles back then, right?
Yeah.
And then you take the top off and you bend it back the other way, so you put it next to someone's ear and it
Yeah,
hurts their ear.
love it.
Used to do that all the time.
You're a bully. I love it. That's fun.
And we would like mess with each other.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't bully anyone specifically, but if someone came to me like I'm being bullied, I'm like, you mess with them. You know, you hit them in the nuts when the teacher's looking. You know?
Chuck a ball at their ass.
Yeah, I had a friend who got bullied real bad,
Yeah.
and tiny kid. This kid was tiny, had something messed up on his head, like a growth on his head, and he got made fun of for it.
Probably because you describe your buddy's thing as something a messed up thing.
It was like a weird bump under his
Yeah.
skin. It was like whatever. We would say he had a second
Spiders.
skull growing. And,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he didn't enjoy that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
we were his friends. We were cool. But this one kid would mess with him a lot, and he was like he reminds me of like Chris Gether, like one of those people like very quiet.
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
if you mess with him, you know he has a temper.
yeah.
So we never saw his temper, and then one day we saw it. He took a pencil and he put it between his ring and his middle finger.
Yeah.
And the eraser was against the inside of his palm. So he made a fist with a pencil sticking out. He dropped to his knees and stabbed the kid through the nuts, through the jeans into the
Jesus
nuts.
Christ.
And he basically pierced just above the penis.
Yeah.
So much that the kid had to go to the hospital. And my buddy.
And the only way they can do that is they put a ball in there. You know, they're like, "Sorry, dude, you're pierced now." You know?
yeah, dude, you got a Prince Albert, my guy. Yeah, congratulations.
Turns out he loves it. They got married a couple years ago.
Yeah, he also stabbed him in the tongue, but his wife comes now. 'Cause so he stabs the kid, and we
Yeah.
were all like, "Whoa, you're a badass!" And then he gets expelled, and we're like, "Oops!"
Fuck.
But then we all did eventually. But for me, I would say like Doritos, Snapple.
Okay,
and
part of the show.
one thing, they don't exist anymore. There were these cupcakes that the cartoon or the commercial was that a bear had snuck into the factory and took a bite out of every cupcake.
Wow.
And that's the cupcake had like a comically cartoon bite taken out of
Damn.
it. It was the greatest cupcake. The top was like a light chocolate ganache with a white cream underneath it. The cake wasn't too moist or too chemical tasting, and there was white cream in the middle. It was just perfect, and you would
Damn.
get two of them. And I remember thinking, this is stupid because I'm getting less cupcake because there's a bite taken out of it.
That
And
fucking
a stupid
bear.
that goddamn bear. You know, but I remember thinking like these are the perfect cupcakes, and then they just went away.
God
remember
damn.
Burger King used to have the two mini burgers that were attached like the
Yeah,
Siamese
yeah.
twins? It
Yeah.
was like that for cupcakes. They were
Wow.
tiny. Oh, they were the best.
What a-
That plus a
I miss them.
Snapple, dude, I would have fought anybody
Yeah.
after that.
Do you think? For two questions. One first. Do you think they blew all their money on that goddamn bear commercial? You know?
I think the marketing of it. First of all, how do you pitch that with the bear?
Yeah,
Right?
totally,
You
yeah.
don't just say like,
Well,
what if it was not round? What if we have a bite taken out of it, but we have to come up with something?
They're
Like,
at their pitch
I don't know,
meeting and they
a
got
bear.
hungry.
Yeah,
You know, they're like,
yeah.
"Ah, shit."
Yeah.
Got
Hey,
a
buddy, your
broken
mouth looks
cupcake maker. And it's like, well, you know.
It doesn't make that side. And then also, okay, so you say Doritos.
Doritos.
What are you
official.
saying? What are you talking about? What flavor?
There's only one.
Tell me
if
the answer.
Anybody
Oh my
says
God.
Dorito and they mean Cool Ranch, they're out of my life.
Yeah.
They're out of my life.
So
Yeah.
many. It blew this podcast. This is episode what 127.
Yeah.
Before we started 127 episodes ago, I would have put every piece of money I've ever made on that. When people talk about Doritos, they're talking about nacho cheese.
100%.
So
Yeah.
many.
If you're not
fucking
talking about it,
asshole
you say
comedians
what other Dorito it is.
are like Cool Ranch. That's a Dorito. Not you eat the
No.
nacho cheese. What are you? Some fuckers come at me with the spicy shit. They're like, oh no, I only eat the what's
The
what's
Thai, the sweet,
yeah,
spicy
they're like
Thai.
that's what I'm talking about when I say Doritos.
Look, I like to switch it up every once in a while.
Yeah.
I'll almost never go to Cool
It's
Ranch.
so weird to me.
Cool Ranch to me is like a violation. You know,
Yeah.
it's like if you're blood, you don't wear
because
blue,
they're
you know what I mean?
rivals.
Yeah, exactly. Bloods versus Crips, right?
Yeah.
Bloods versus
Totally,
Red.
totally,
Yeah.
totally.
I'm always official to me nacho
Yeah.
cheese. I like the spicy nacho.
I
Those
love
are
a
fun.
nacho cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nacho cheese is just a great.
I got
It's the greatest chip of all time.
Yes, I agree 100%. I feel like I got redeemed from last week's episode where Madison went hard on Cool Ranch. So fantastic. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you're on my side. I didn't have to
My
walk out.
girlfriend is a nutritionist, so
Yeah.
a lot of these snacks are very difficult to bring into the home
Sure,
anymore.
sure.
But
Well, also her allergies, of course. You know?
I see you smash down a good
yeah,
quartet
I'm
of,
not home, so I love
gummy
gummy
mini
candy. I love
burgers?
gummy candy.
yeah. What
Gotta
were
have
those?
it.
The
Oh,
gummy
yeah.
burgers? Yeah.
Yeah.
For the bear or the worm?
Thank you.
I prefer I would say the bear,
Yeah.
but now it's like it's like when I have like Haribo or Haribo. I don't know why you want to say
It's
it.
Phobo.
but now when I realize when I have those, because now my girlfriend, she is like obsessed with like healthier options
Sure,
of things.
yeah,
So things that are like stevia sweetened as
Yeah. Oh,
opposed
yeah.
to just with sugar. And now I've like been, my body's so conditioned to the healthier thing that when I have the
You're just
unhealthy
like-
thing, I'm like, this is gross,
Yeah.
guys. Like I'm just so like weaned off of the like terrible terrible
Yeah.
candies or
I
whatever.
like sour worms.
I love any sour candy. I'm
Really, I can't
obsessed.
do it. I don't think I took good enough care of my teeth as a child or as an adult to get into sour.
What about when warheads were like big on the
Yeah, but
playground?
that was more of
where
like
they're
a-
like a psych up.
That's
thing.
like an endurance thing, though. It's
Yeah.
just like those fire red hot candies.
Yeah.
I'm a vegetarian, so I don't do gummies anymore.
What
but-
about Swedish fish?
Well, now because of that, Swedish fish and any of that, there's a difference. I don't know.
Is it, I do think
There's
it's
a difference
weird
between gummies, but
that the
Yeah.
vegan
I love
gummy
Swedish
is
fish.
still an animal shape. So
oh
it's,
dang, yeah,
you
it's
know.
like a comment on.
Wait, why
animals.
can't you eat like gummy bears?
Gummies have
It's the
the gelatin, which is
from the
like
pig,
from
from
hooves
the-
and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from the pig bones. I
So-
thought they stopped using that.
No, it was one of those things that like for a long time, like Skittles stopped doing it. Skittles stopped putting it in Skittles, so I got to start eating
Skittles
Skittles.
is trash. I don't
Taste the
know why.
rainbow, not the hoof.
I can't understand. To me, like I get
I
freaked
won't
out by
buy
Skittles
it.
all the time. I think it's M&M's.
Sure.
To me, I'm an M&M.
You guys think M&M smells a little bit like
Oh, yeah.
shit?
No.
M&M's?
No, I've
No?
never.
All right.
Literally, everyone stopped. Everyone's like, "What?"
Well, sometimes you're like, is this me or everyone? It's just me.
M&M's getting in the Oreo range where they just got to stay in their own lane. There's too much M&M's coming out.
I
now.
used to think that until we were in Atlanta,
Georgia?
Yes, the Republic of Atlanta.
I know 'em all.
And it's the second capital of Colombia.
God's country.
We were in Atlanta and we went to the bodega to get stuff for the hotel room, and they had coffee nut peanut
Yeah.
M&Ms. It's the best. It's so good, and I can't
Yeah.
find it here anywhere.
Yeah.
So like our fans send us stuff to unbox on
Sure,
our
sure.
podcast.
Same here,
And somebody just
We do. I'm not
Yeah.
fucking around. I mean, we're not you
Okay.
guys. We're not on television yet.
But somebody recently posted like that's a weird candy. I think they only sell here, and they were from Atlanta. I was like, actually, this is a weird candy. They only sell there, and I love it. And I can't find it here. And she wrote back like, "Ooh, this might be another unboxing." And I was like, "Yes," because I keep saying like, "Dude, you guys should send us food."
Yeah.
because he hates food, and I love it
For sure. What'd they send us?
You ever notice the peanut butter M&M has a Donald Trump haircut? The
Is
one
that-
on the package?
Really? I don't
He's got
know.
like peanut butter hair?
Hey, this is like my do M&M's smell like shit, I guess, It's just you.
I haven't. No, I'm curious now.
What did they send us? The Causies. Was it cupcakes? Remember? We got the
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We got a box of Hostess cupcakes.
Yeah.
And some fruit roll-ups
And you
we
know-
still got in
That's
the,
awesome.
You open them up on the show, and then they're sitting there, and you're talking, and all of a sudden we fucking eat a box of cupcakes. The show's over, and I fucking want to die. You know, he just has to go lay down. I have to take a train home. Goddamn. Okay, you guys.
Where's the cream filling?
Thank you. You guys have been fantastic on the show. God damn it.
Thank you so much.
Now, the listeners, they love you. Okay. The NFers, they're on board. Tell them, take turns. You guys can pass the mic back and forth. You guys have been doing great with that all day. Tell them where they can find you guys personally on the internet, for yourselves, because you're both comedians in your own. And also the Cooligans whole thing.
Sure. You can follow me on Instagram, Christian_Polanco, and Chris Polanco on Twitter, ChristianPolanco.com, all that stuff, stand-up shows, the whole deal.
Yeah.
And for the Cooligans, our TV show airs Tuesdays and Thursdays on Fubo Sports Network, so you can go, you can watch it on all the platforms you mentioned earlier, Samsung, TV Plus, Roku, Zumo TV, but you can watch it for free on FuboSportsNetwork.com.
Cool.
It's just the channel is just always on when you go to the website.
Cool.
Fantastic.
And at Soccer Cooligans on all social media.
All right, great.
Yeah, I reiterate everything he said, except my personal stuff is all not Alexis, NOTALEXIS.
Gotcha.
Instagram, Twitter, and I'm pretty sure that's all I really use anyway.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Goddamn. Well, thank you guys so much for being on
Hell
the show.
yeah, thank you.
This was awesome. Thanks,
This was
guys.
very fun, yeah. Ream, tell the listeners where they can find you. on the internet.
Reamcore, that's REAMKORE on all the different social media places. Also check out House of Brick Comedy, second Friday of every month at the Pine Box. It's free, it's cool, it's a good time.
Fantastic. Of course, you can find me at Patrick Hasty. It's at PATRICKHSTAE, PatrickHasty.com. For all shows, I'm in New York for the rest of the year, so that's exciting. Come out to Jackknife Comedy the first Saturday of every month. My new show, Lookers, which has been pretty good. We just had the one. But the second Wednesday of every month at Branded Saloon. Get on the Patreon, give us some money, buy a shirt, tell your friends, be cool, never die, and as always, remember, if you're not an NFer,
You're an MFer,
so
get the fuck out of here.
Hey, that's it. That's the show, guys. Thank you. You guys are so good at being together. Jesus Christ.
Welcome to BrainMachineNetwork.com.